Hi, welcome back to my space. Yeah, I keep moving around. My apartment has different layouts for different purposes. Thanks for coming back if you're coming back for the show. If you're new, thank you for coming through. My name is Cinta. I do my hair, so I ended up shaving the back of my head, and then I'm also my cat's groomer. So I do everything. I'm like a multitasker. So today, instead of me playing any songs like on the keyboard, I'm going to have you guys listen to the pieces I've worked on. I'm trying to get everything ready to set up to submit to Spotify. I had done it before. I ended up getting a track on iHeartRadio, and I'll have you listen to the track that actually did go there, but I took it down in the end because there were complications with the artist, and we just decided to just call it off. I'm going to have you guys listen to pieces I've worked on with people, and then pieces I'm working on my own, just so you guys get an understanding of where my brain is with music. I do everything. I try my best to do lots of different variations. This is the one that ended up going into iHeartRadio. Continue. Skip, I don't know what the sound was. Okay. So I did the chord progressions I had done a long time ago with another group. And then the vocals was done with a person that had their own vocals. And it just happened that they worked out nicely. So this is what happened here. And it was all done on obviously my computer.
I've seen some bad things, but you take the cake. Now I've seen your dark side, and I know it wasn't my mistake. I could forgive and I could forget, but you were rock bottom to me. You're as bad as it gets. Now I've been holding my breath for a long time. I'm a moment away.
So I'm just having you listen to clips of songs. Okay, so that's one of them. I think this is the track we did here. So she got the beat from somewhere else, but we put it together in this space. And I actually had her as a student when I was at Guitar Center.
The way you make me feel is so
This is raw. I think she eventually had somebody mix and master it later.
I never need makeup, never need my head, and you make me feel caked up, jaded when I wake up. You love me for who I am, they'll never understand. You make me feel carefree, pretty little lady. I'm loved on bad days, make me little French braids, bad hair days on Sundays. I love the way you make me.
So there's that. And she chose her own thing, but I always emphasized with students to start working on even my sister, before my sister became like recognized in the music industry, I told her when she was younger, I said, make sure you start composing your own pieces. And by the time she started preparing to compose her own pieces, her career skyrocketed. So it has everything to do with coming up with your own tracks, guys. I think it's like, start off slow, build your vision up. Let me see where the other things are. Build your vision up, work with people, explore the ideas, but also at the same time. So I had recorded some Disney pieces with students in the past, but I didn't post them on anything because, Disney, you can experiment with it and show people how to use their vocals with the songs that they've practiced and then come in and test it out, but I don't recommend recording and then putting the song up. Unless you're making it your own, and then it might be okay, but you'd still probably have to get the rights from the company, which is hard to get, especially with something like Disney. And I have more things I've worked on, and obviously sometimes I haven't necessarily recorded students. I've worked with people, and it was just live recordings. Let's see, I might have played this already. Let's see. I think I've used this for some of my videos, so this is where this came from, and I did produce it myself. So I own the rights. Just to show you, I actually put things together here. Okay, and when you do things like Logic, you start with layers. These are called layers over here. I don't know if you guys can see it, but each individual section has layers. And in order to get an actual song, you need to have A, the composition, B, you need to know what chords, you need to understand chord progressions, or have a feel for what sounds good. So listening to lots of different types of songs. And then an instrument. I mean, it could be guitar that you're practicing. And you can add the guitar or your mic, your vocals through this MIDI. I have another one that I just got, which is Rhodes, which I'll eventually plug in. We just need a bigger desk. There are lots of things I need to do. And then you have the loops over here. So you can use these loops and you can just plug those in to create different types of beats, and you can add them together and make, and I think in my next video I'll probably put together a track so you guys can watch me put it together. Like it's going to be off the bat. I'm not going to rehearse it. We're going to just test a few things out and see if it works out. And that's what we'll do for the next one. So all the tracks that I've been doing besides the ones I've worked with people will be going into a Spotify next. Please like and subscribe. I'm going to keep you guys posted on a couple of different mechanisms in music. Yesterday we talked about how to practice on your own without a band. Today we're talking about how musicians, come together and produce tracks as a group or by yourself individually, and how important it is to be an independent musician who's producing and composing their own music. You can always spend like $100 per hour in a recording studio, or you can literally create the studio yourself. I went the route of creating the studio because I would prefer to generate money on my own than to give it to people who I don't know, might have recognizable names, but they're going to ask you even more. Most people here in the States would ask you for about $100 to $200 per hour in the studio space, all depending. So that's what people charge in recording studios. It's a pricey little thing. I would probably recommend working for like Guitar Center if you want to build up equipment, but that means you need to learn a little bit about music or understand supplies and what is sold in the markets. So you have two angles, but I do recommend learning something so it could help you grow your business rather than diminishing the amount of money that you're putting into it. I think it costs less to actually set up your own studio than to spend endless amounts of hours in somebody else's studio and making them rich. That's just my personal opinion. And yeah, so once again, thank you for visiting. Thanks for coming back to my channel. I really appreciate it. My hair's a bit wet. It's been a hair day for me. So when I do my hair, I sort of do it in segments. I dye my hair and then I cut my hair on a different day, so I don't damage the hair, if you know what I mean. So and then I'm gonna put a clip on what else I do during the day. So today I'm also supposed to be doing a Whatnot show, but the Whatnot show is basically the same as the Poshmark show. I'm able to record the Whatnot shows versus the Poshmark shows. So I'll just add that clip in now so you can see the rest of my day and what I do. Thank you again for popping over. I'll talk more about some more things later on. But that just gives you a general idea and why I decided to build a studio space versus going into recording studios. I sort of like the technical side. I like to be the composer behind the scenes. I'm not the type of person who likes to be interrupted by other people's choices in their decisions on how to make my songs happen. I like to have full control over my songs, and that's what you can do when you set up your own space. You have complete control over what you do, and that's the difference. Thank you again, and hope to see you guys soon.